is Rhapsody, and this is essentially, I know, unretired, it's crazy, right? So this is essentially the game that thinks it's Disney, but it's not. There is singing, there's a little bit of dancing, and there's some fourth wall breaking. And I'll do my best to guide you through it as we go along. So, 3, 2, 1, boop, let's go. So, this is the story of Cornette. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. This is the story of Cornette. She is kind of a musician, and she's longing for her prince to come rescue her and marry him one day. And Cornette has this little friend, this little puppet here, Kururu. Kururu is a magical puppet, and she can basically move around and talk and do everything a real person could do, including smack Cornette. Uh, Puppets are going to play a huge role in this game, so instead of having people join your party, puppets are going to be the ones that join your party. So we're actually going to get our first battle puppet right here. This is Shartae. Shartae is going to be our holy healer. And every time we want a puppet to join our party, basically what we do is we play Hornet's little trumpet here. And essentially, the puppets also kind of have their own little storylines going on, and they all have these wishes that they want granted, and if you grant their wishes, they're supposed to be able to move on and be special, and we're only going to grant one wish. Out of all the puppets we get, we're only going to grant one wish for the entire game. I'm also going to be doing a lot of random safety saves because, well, this game can soft lock, and yeah, it's bad. So this is not all songs. We are going to skip a couple of songs, including one that would normally get sung right over here. But first, we have to go and fight some toads. Only one wish, you wish for more wishes? I'm sorry, that's not allowed. But yeah, so even though the battles are kind of random encounters, it is still a tactical battle game, which is kind of interesting. There is a port for the DS, and in the port, they're not tactical battles. They're regular random encounters, which is a little strange, but no matter. So we stopped to have our picnic lunch. We're going to deny Kururu her song. And we're going to go continue into the forest to find some inotium for my grandpa. And hope for almost no encounters. Alright, I'm gonna do one quick safety save here. Just in case. But this game has some really, really fantastic graphics. It has, if you play it through casually and you get to kind of pick apart a lot of the extras, it's a lot of fun to pick up the extra puppets and do a lot of the side quests. So here's one of the main antagonists. This is Miss Meow. There are a lot of cats in this game, which is another reason I like it. But Miss Meow is demanding our money, and because we won't give it to her, she's gonna sick her cats on us. Miss Meow, despite her looks, is actually one of the most powerful bosses in the game. So you're also gonna notice in battle a lot, I'm gonna use Cornette's horn. So what Cornette's horn does is every round that you use it, number one, it's going to strengthen the attack power of the puppets in the battle. but it's also going to build up her little gauge on the upper right-hand corner where you see the musical note. And for every level that you build up, you get to use another special attack for Cornet, essentially. So we beat up the cats. Miss Meow is not very happy. And now she's gonna summon a jargon. Cornet still doesn't want to hand over her money, but Kururu is going to hand it over anyway. And does a little bit of fourth wall breaking, telling Cornet that if we die here, we have to rewatch the cutscene. But just as the dragon is about to attack, who comes in but our Dream Prince? So, for now, Miss Meow is going to give up and run off. And we're going to stare dumbfounded at our prince and not say a heckin' thing. So, poor Cornet is a deer in the headlights. And now she's going to lament over it. But Kururu, being the upbeat gal that she is, she's going to kind of encourage us to be like, hey, you know, why don't we find something that the prince really likes so that we can just surprise him with it? And that's going to be our next little goal, is we're going to head up north to the capital city, which is Mother Green. And we're going to find something the prince really likes so that we can give him a present. Aren't we nice? We're just going to give our prince a random present because we're totally, as commoners, going to get into the castle too. But first, we must pick up our second puppet. This egg right here. So this is Kid. Kid is technically one of 3 brothers. We do not pick up the other 2 brothers in the speed run, but interestingly enough, he does have a brother named Tell who shoots arrows, which I find amusing. This would be Rhapsody. But now, we're going to go back to our original quest, and we're going to talk to this nice lady here, and she's going to tell us that the prince really likes Bobo fish. I don't know why the fish is named Bobo. Don't ask me. So we decide, okay, we're going to go catch some Bobo fish, and we're going to surprise the prince with a really tasty dish. Unfortunately, here comes Etoile to ruin our day. So Etoile is kind of Cornet's foil. She is rich and pretty and a super duper snob. And she basically calls Cornet a peasant and a commoner and tells her that she has a $1 million dress by Calvin Klein. And of course, Cornet's just frustrated by Etoile, which is going to happen quite often during this run. And Kururu's like, just forget her. Let's go get the Bobo fish. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going back into the Wonderwoods. We're going to take a slightly different turn, and we're going to go catch some Bobo fish for our prince to make yummy food. So there's our Bobo fish. We're going to see how nicely they behave. It's not that it's a hard fight, it's that they have an attack that they can use, which really eats up a lot of time for the animation that it does. Yeah, it's very painfully anime and very painfully Disney at the same time. So we do need to keep Horn going throughout this entire battle for for the reasons of building up the gauge, but Kid is also level 1. Any new puppet that you get is level 1 when you get them in your party, which is one of the reasons that we really don't go out of our way to get a lot of the puppets. These Bobo fish are like moving everywhere, which is annoying. But that's alright. But yeah, because Kid's only level 1, we really need to make sure that his attack power stays up. And now we've got our Bobo fish. Huzzah! Unfortunately, because we just caught fish, guess who we're gonna attract the attention of? And this time, instead of the cats coming to rob us of our money, the cats are going to come to rob us of our Bobo fish. And here is where we're going to use Cornet's reward for the first time, and why we were building up our gauge. So here is sugar candy. So, Cornet's rewards are essentially all food, which is kind of fun. But, of course, the higher level you go, the more damage they technically can do. But with sugar candy, we can make quick work of these because it's a nice AoE attack. Sugar laggy, yes, you are absolutely right. But now that we have our Bobo fish, let's go cook something really tasty for the prince. Unfortunately, for the time being, we still have to walk out of dungeons. It sucks. By the way, anytime I fail to run from something, you're gonna get a very jarring sound. Because the game really wants you to know that you have failed to run away from battle. Yeah, I did play the DS version of this. It's okay. The battle system is a little bit different, and the sound, I don't think, is as good as the PlayStation version, but it's still, I mean, it's still fine. They didn't really change much else. So enjoy your little musical humming here. Yeah, it's a fun run. It's just that because it's tactical based and random encounters, RNG is kind of heavy, basically. Alright, so we cooked a delicious Boba fish steak. Now we're gonna go give it to our prince. But how are we gonna get into the castle? I mean, we're commoners. We can't just waltz in the front gates, right? I have, like, 3 copies of this randomly lying around because of the soft locks. I was trying to see if it was disc related or not. That was, I mean, one of them was given to me, which is thankful, but it's like, dang. So Kurudu knows this secret path that actually is going to lead us into the castle so that we don't have to try to get through the guards in front of the castle doors. And we're also going to do a safety save pretty soon, because one of the scenes coming up is where it really likes to soft lock, and I would rather not have to redo all of this again, so yeah. Okay, let's go. Oh, I forgot to tell you something about this switch. Monsters drop down from it. So we definitely want to build up the horn again for this battle and get the first gauge filled because we want to do one more sugar candy. There used to be a different strat for the next battle, but whoever, I forget who the person is, but whoever has the world record, I believe, came up with a slightly different strat for the next battle. Are we gonna soft lock? Yes, we are. So this means it has soft locked, so I'm gonna have to reset. And this is why we save it. Yeah, I don't know why it does it so much in this one area, but it is what it is. Let me just make sure this is still on. Nope, I don't know why it turns off either. But yeah, so speaking of retro, who remembers that loading screen? A lot of games will give you like a combination of buttons to press if you need to reset it, but it doesn't seem to really work for this game for whatever reason. But let's try that again. Like I said, that's why we save. Because you never know what the heck is going to happen with the soft locks in this game. Oops. Oh, it gave me a different formation this time. That was nice. Please don't soft lock a second time. There we go. Okay. So we're good now. So, essentially, Cornet smells gas as they're coming up. And, well, they end up coming up through a toilet. Luckily, though, the sign on the door is supposed to say out of service, so they didn't really come up through anything too disgusting. Unfortunately, the Minister Galonzo is in here, and we get caught. But in order to kind of cover our tracks, Kururu tells the Minister that, oh yeah, we're just like a secret admirer, and Cornet really wanted to meet you, and blah 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 blah, literally, blah 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 blah. So Kururu tries to get us to follow her lead. But, well, the Minister is really super duper creepy. And as soon as he tries to get close to us, we get creeped out. We hit him, we throw our fish at him, and he calls his minions on us. A plumber needs to deal with the soft locks, oh my gosh. Whoop, not horn. Sugar candy! Yeah, there was a strat before this where you would want Shartae to learn Holy before you got to that point, but the amount of times you actually get stuck fighting enough battles for her to get to that level is practically non-existent. So now that we've failed, we need to go find another way to get to our prince. And if casually you talk to those two ladies up there, they tell you that there's a beauty contest going on in Mother Green right now. So we're gonna go sign up for that. Because it turns out that the winner of the contest actually becomes a candidate to marry the prince. So this nice lady here gets us all registered. And we take a look at the instructions for the contest. And we find out that we kind of need a dress for the first round of the competition. And of course, who steps in but Etwile? Etwile scoffs at us, basically, for trying to enter the contest because we're poor peasants and can't believe that we're entering a beauty contest, telling us that it takes hard work and money, lots and lots of money. But Kurudu being Kurudu says, well, we're going to take your challenge and we're going to win the contest. And then Etwile tells us she has bought every single dress in the city. But we still need to find a dress to wear for the first round of the competition. So we're still going to go ask the dressmaker if he can do something for us. But the dressmaker, of course, tells us the exact same thing that Etwile did, that she has basically reserved every dress for months to come. But there is there was a theater company in the Wonderwoods at one point. So you might be able to find a dress there, essentially. So we're going to go back here again, and we're going to go see if we can find that theater company. We come in and out of the Wonderwoods a lot during the course of the game. You would, Reg, you would. As we're looking for our dress, though, we smell something really tasty. And, I mean, it ends up smelling like barbecue. Who doesn't want to go eat barbecue, right? I want to go eat barbecue. And lo and behold, there's a barbecue joint in here. Who put this here? So we decide we're going to go eat first, and then we'll keep looking for the dress. So depending on which door you go in actually changes the monsters that you encounter. And the ones down here are a little bit easier to deal with. But we come in, we get this sign on the door. It says, exercise is good for the body. And then we end up in an encounter. But now that Charte has her AoE, we're just going to AoE everything. It is DAC. It is definitely better. And then we come to room number 2, and there's white stuff all over the floor. And the sign says, use salt to revitalize your body. And then we come to a third room that sweating off all the bad stuff is good for you. Something doesn't seem right here, and if you've played Breath of Fire 2, you might be catching on right about now. I know, it is supposed to be only a pinch. What the heck, right? So now that we've done all this weird stuff, we find more cats and the delicious smell. So, the same way that Breath of Fire 2 had the restaurant that you walk through to get cooked, this was kind of the same thing. So, in order to make the perfect barbecue, you need to exercise, you need to be lightly salted, and then you need to be steamed until you're tender. Well, they failed. And the picture comes tumbling down. Let's investigate, because why not? So it turns out that this barbecue joint was the theater company. And that's why there's all this random stuff back here. So we find Elkun, who's going to be our last team member. He's also a puppet. And Kururu suggests that Cornet wear this for the first round of the competition, even though it's not really a dress. Of course, Cornet is fairly skeptical about using Elkun for her outfit for the first round, but, well, she unfortunately doesn't really have much of a choice. Also, you cannot teleport until you get to this next screen, so now I can teleport out of here. So with our costume in hand, it's time for the beauty contest. I hope you all are ready. So the Queen reminds us that the winner of the contest does get to become a candidate to be the Prince's bride. And this dude is essentially going to explain how the contest works. So round one, exactly what we were talking about before. You know, you have to wear you essentially have to wear a dress, and you're going to be judged on how poised you are in it, not necessarily the quality of the dress. Round two is actually going to be a battle royale, right? Because the new princess or the new queen has to be able to defend her kingdom. And then round three is actually a singing contest because, well, this is Rhapsody. And here we find a terrible human being where Etoile is basically arguing with her dad, telling him that she does not want to marry the prince and that he's only using her to try to climb the social ladder. He is a horrible human being because you do not smack your child that way. And the dad laments that Etoile used to be such a nice girl before she got wrapped up in the idea that money is just everything. And he asks us to just kind of keep an eye on her and make sure she's okay. So he cares, but he's still a jerk. So it's time for round one, where we get to see all the grand dresses. So first is some random nobody, but the dress is very cute. And then, of course, no contest would be complete if we didn't see Etoile in the same dress that she always wears, with a fan powerful enough to give her wind movement. And then finally, we have our wonderful heroine, wearing Elkun. They heckle her. And the prince is like, I thought girls wore nice dresses for these things. And Cornet is really not happy right now. She essentially tells Kururu that she hates her and she's a jerk. So, Etoile said can't understand why Etoile doesn't want to talk to her. Gee, I wonder why. But the queen, being the awesome person that she is, basically tells Etoile's father that he's a jerk. and he should respect Etule's wishes. And now that we've seen that lovely little cutscene, now it's time for round 2. It's time for the Battle Royale. So first we're gonna fight this random nobody. The prince does kind of recognize us, though, although he can't quite pinpoint where he's seen us before. But because this was a random nobody, it's a pretty easy fight. Also notice all of the levels Elkun is getting because he started at level 1. So we've won the first round. Cornette kind of feels a little bit like down about the whole thing, and she has this little memory where Kurudu is telling her that her trumpet can grant wishes. And that her mom wanted her to have it. And Kurudu asks Cornette what her wish is, and she's like, I want to have a lot of friends, but I've already got you, Kurudu, because it's sweet and sappy and Disney-y. But we're gonna go check on Etule, because I'm a little worried about her. First, Etule tells us that we're rude and we have no manners, and then yells at us for being concerned about us because her dad asked her to be. Where Cornette is kind of like, well, I don't even have parents anymore, so shut up. And then Etule says, well, you did bad in the battle because you don't have Kurudu around. And they basically start yelling at each other to apologize and have an argument that you should apologize first. No, you should apologize first. And decide whoever wins the final round of the battle is going to be the one that apologizes first. But, well, all the other girls have dropped out of the competition. So it is literally just down to Etule and Cornette at this point. I know, right, Jason? That would be so much more awesome. And the prince still can't remember where he's seen her before. But, unfortunately, this is a battle that we cannot win. Because they bought rocket launchers. So the only thing we can really do here is to get Cornette killed off as fast as possible to end the battle. And Etule just tells Cornette that she lost because you don't have your important person around, which of course is Kurudu. And Cornette decides, yes, I've taken Kurudu for granted. But when we come to, thankfully, Kurudu is still there. Because she loves us. And Cornette gives her basically a big, sappy apology and thanks her for always being around. As Etule eavesdrops. And now that that's settled, it's time for the final round, which is the singing competition, because in a game that's supposed to be about singing, you haven't really heard very much yet. Yes, thank you for taking 3 seconds to walk to the front to tell us that the final round is about to begin. I get a break. Enjoy the music, because it's like 3-4 minutes long.
I've known it for so long, and it feels so good to hear. Sounds a little sad, but sweet just the same. Lovely melody. Whenever I hear this song, I really don't know why. It makes me shed a little tear, but I'm sure my tears will soon disappear, because I know you're here. Whenever I am feeling sad and everything around looks bad, all I have to do is think of you. I know my dreams are waiting to come true. Let's go on with hope in our hearts. Love will surely show us how. Let's go on, our hearts filled with dreams. Let's go on and find them now. You're such a lucky girl, that's what they always say. Rich and beautiful and bright. They don't get to see what's hidden deep inside. So I feel all alone. They keep telling me my life is so grand. What will make them understand? No one knows how truly lonely I am. Why won't they understand? I may act as if I'm strong, but all I want is to belong. Love and understanding from mom and dad is all I need to keep on being sad. If only I could just let go. Help me let my feelings show.
I hope you enjoyed that first song. I enjoyed the break. So the queen decides, well, your songs were both really fantastic. So why don't we have two winners? Of course, Etule isn't happy because, you know, she's like, well, how can there be two winners? If there's two winners, then I don't win. Fairy just cannot keep still. But it turns out that the winners of the contest have to attend a ball at the castle, but they have to wear the same outfit that they wore in the first round of the competition. And Kururu did not tell Cornet that. But we have very little choice. We're gonna have to do it anyway. And we fast forward to the day of the ball. I'm gonna do a little safety save because we haven't saved in a little bit. And then we're gonna go dance with our prince. It's definitely worth it, Iceburner, especially casually to read everything and see all the fourth wall breaking. It's nice because for a game like this to not take itself seriously, it really couldn't. It really could not take itself seriously and still be as fun as it is. So, it's time for the ball. Etule is going to very graciously help us get changed. More because she wants to make fun of us, but we have no choice. Unfortunately, Galonzo is the first person we encounter again, but thankfully he doesn't recognize us because we're in our Elkun costume, and he tells us entertainers should be entering at the rear. Well, Cornet gets lippy with him. He does not like it when people get lippy with him because he thinks he's all powerful. He mocks us, and thankfully the queen comes down and is like, oh, hi girls, and she's like, these are the contest winners, isn't she adorable? Of course, Galonzo is not going to act strange in front of his queen, so he decides to remember this for later. But, party's on, let's go dance. So the contest winners technically get to go dance with the prince first, and Etule's like, I'm not really interested in the prince, so why don't you go ahead and dance with him first? And Kururu tells her, oh, you're really nice after all, and Etule's, no, I just wanted to laugh at Cornet. Because what better reason is there for this? And splat. Of course, Cornet is all embarrassed, but the prince finally recognizes her. And he's like, let's dance. Unfortunately, we're gonna skip this song. If you've heard A Whole New World from Aladdin, well, this is basically this game's version of that. Come on. Thank you. So, we skip the scene, we skip the dance, and so, essentially, we have granted Elkun's wish by letting him perform on the stage again. And anytime you grant the puppet's wish, the original creature leaves your party, but they leave their puppet, quote-unquote, behind. But Galonzo recognizes us as soon as we fell out of the costume, and he's like, you're the assassins, aren't you? And you're gonna pay for this. Sure we will. Yeah, I did too, DAC. I did too. I was a little scared there. Haha, your assassins are no match for us, Galonzo. Oh, here's our prince, coming to save us again. Isn't he such a lovely prince? He's so wonderful, he keeps saving us. And to give them some alone time, Kururu is going to kind of go make herself scarce. And, well, now they're just gonna kind of be awkward with each other. But what's this? Dun dun dun! And of course, both Kururu and Etoile are spying on the two of them, waiting for the two of them, one of them to make a move on the other one. Just frustrated that neither is doing anything and they're just being awkward and embarrassed with each other, making stupid small talk. Oh, heck yeah, DAC, heck yeah. So, Miss Meow was unhappy that the prince came and interrupted her earlier in the game. So she told Miss Marjorie, which is the one with the jiggle physics up top. And Marjorie was not happy that somebody from the royal family basically attacked one of her minions. But, well, Miss Meow is not a good driver. And crashes into the castle. And before Cornet or the prince can do anything, they're interrupted, and Etoile gets to make fun of Cornet again. But they need to go figure out what's going on, because of course everybody heard the crash. And there's more cats! The prince gives us a holy charm, which is going to be given to Shartae. It actually cuts MP usage in half, and because she is our main magic user and healer, it is super duper useful. Yeah, basically, Jason, basically. So let's equip that lovely piece of equipment. And let's go find out what happened to our prince. So you have Miss Meow on the left, you have Gao in the middle, Gao Gao, and then you have Crotia on the right-hand side. So Marjorie says that one of the royal family attacked my minion a couple of days ago, and I want to know who did it. So of course the prince, being the noble person that he is, steps forward. Unfortunately, well, Marjorie falls in love with him at first sight. The running joke in this is that Marjorie is super duper ancient, even though she doesn't necessarily look like it. And she has lots of jiggle physics. But because she's kind of on the older side, she doesn't always get her magic right and ends up turning the prince to stone. I know, rainbows, right? It's heckin' awesome.
And one and two. Okay, everybody, all together.
So Marjorie is not happy about being made fun of, and she sicks her 3 minions on us. This is another unwinnable encounter. And essentially we just kind of have to get Cornet into the line of fire here. There we go. So, Marjorie is going to take the prince with her, because she kind of needs to figure out how to undo the curse that she herself did. Why the costume is moving on its own? Wait, what? But Cornette decides that she's gonna go on a journey and figure out how to rescue her prince. Because in this game, she's the main character. She's the lead. So she's gonna rescue her prince rather than the prince rescuing her. And, of course, Kurudu is not gonna let her go by herself. Oh, I mean, the bear thing is a puppet like all the others, so they all can move on their own. It's just that it was also her costume at the same time. So, Cornette's grandfather tells Cornette where she can find somebody who might be able to help her, this old sage in a tower by the town called Blue Cat. So, essentially the first thing we have to do is we have to figure out how to get a boat to Blue Cat. And this is a little bit of a fetch quest. And this is also where the music changes, which is kind of cool. So this dude tells us that he would take us to Blue Cat, but his daughter is very unhappy because her boyfriend essentially just called her fat. And he's not going to go anywhere until his daughter feels better. So to kind of help that along a little bit, he's like, why don't you get her something that she really likes? And the guard outside tells us that she really likes these toads down by the river. Barbecue toad is essentially her favorite dish. So we're gonna go catch some toads. Hopefully. Not in 20 battles. Whether we get toads in battle or not is a little bit of RNG. Well, we'll see how long it takes. So, please, toads. Please. 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 Nope, those are not toads. Come on, give me toads. Please give me toads. Yay, only 2. Fantastic. Huzzah! We have our toads. Unfortunately, we also have more cats. I know, right, Ice Burner? But we're gonna take care of this kind of quickly. And we're gonna sugar candy with all the lag. Alf is off eating the cats, I know. He needs to be here eating these cats. It's crazy. And thank goodness for teleporters, because we don't have to walk back out. So we have the toads that the captain asked us to bring. So surely he'll take us now, right? I know! Why don't you cook them for us, too? And the guard tells us now that her favorite restaurant is this barbecue toad place down by the river. Well, guess where we're going. Once again, we are back in the Wonderwoods. I was wondering when that was gonna happen. Wow, I have, like, no magic. Nope, can't reach. Alright, there we go. The nice thing about this is every time you gain a level, you do get your magic and your health restored. So we're back at the barbecue place. We don't have to deal with exactly the same stuff that we did the first time we came through here, but we still have to fight the cats for their food. Because essentially, this is where the barbecue toad has been coming from. But we have Shartae, we have our holy rainbows. We're fine. And, well, now we have our barbecue toad. Well, we will in, like, a minute. And now that we have this, surely now the captain will be like, yeah, I'm totally gonna take you over to Blue Cat. Right? This game is super duper adorable. I highly recommend it. So, we kind of chastise this guard out here, and it turns out the guard is the girl's boyfriend, and we yell at him for calling her fat. And he says, I didn't call her fat, I said she has a full figure, and I just facepalm. That is not okay either! But they make up, he apologizes to her, and the captain finally agrees to take us to Blue Cat. Meanwhile, we get a little bit of a cutscene here with Marjorie and her goons. And she has sent Crotia to figure out how to break the spell on the prince so that he's not a stone statue anymore. So, essentially, in order to break the spell, a young maiden who truly loves the prince has to kiss him because, well, again, this is kind of sort of Disney. So Marjorie's like, I can do that. I can break the spell. Well, yeah, no. And Marjorie yells at her and tells her, go find another solution, because obviously this one was not the right solution. So now that we're back to us, it's time to head to Blue Cat. We don't actually get to see the voyage on the sea, you just get a little cutscene where Kuduro is like, oh yeah, you've never been out at the ocean before, ha! Thanks. So, normally you would go to that tower and you would find out that you need to find a way to open the tower up. And the only thing that you can use is a cat's eye jewel. And the only place to get a cat's eye jewel is this cat's eye mine. Wow. Words. And, well, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna come in here and we're gonna get a cat's eye jewel to open it up. Pow. Really? You left it with 8 HP? Shartae, please. So, a lot of the caves and a lot of the towers look almost identical. And I still have to look at the directions sometimes because everything does look very samey in the dungeons, unfortunately. But as we come into the end of this mine shaft, we're going to come upon Shartae's sister, Terra. And if you talk to the people in the townspeople, somebody tells you that this little girl had this puppet, Tara, and the mother threw it away because it was dirty. And Tara was, of course, very unhappy and very devastated by this. And now she's evil. Evil. Yeah, it is really super duper easy to get lost. But it turns out that in kind of manipulating her a little bit were some monsters, because why not? So we will free her from these monsters' grasp. Because that's what we do. So we take pity on Tara because she was being deceived, and we tell her that we'll love her because she's awesome. She actually is pretty powerful if you decide to level her up and put her in the party. But we're not going to do that because that means starting over with a new puppet. Sorry, Tara, you're just going to kind of sit in the inventory. But we get our jewel, and now we can go to the tower. So they see the picture of the cat, and it's really Etoile. So this is the cutscene that you get, regardless of when you come here. That tells us that there is only one way to open the tower, and that's a cat's eye jewel from the blue cat lines. And she laughs at us for being stupid, but, well, we already have the jewel, so joke's on her. So we get invited into the tower, and I'm gonna do my best to not get lost here. Because legit, everything looks the same. This encounter lock kinda stinks. Papa. Thank you for that. Sometimes you have better luck running on the second turn, so I'm gonna try that first before I bother fighting. Oh, that's what I wanted. I wanted animations, thank you. There we go. All of the spellcasts, basically, are very laggy. But we are almost at the end of this tower. There we go. So here we find our grandfather's old friend. And he's supposed to be a very wise sage. So we tell him what happened to the prince and tell him we need his help. And he tells us, well, you need to find these stones, these elemental stones. And when you have those, you'll be able to save your prince. He's also a little curious about why our puppet can move and talk. And we tell him that it's our grandfather, Mitsaki, and he's like, oh yeah, I remember him, and he was my rival long ago, and he starts to kind of dodder on, and we just walk out while he's reminiscing. Also, that rabbit in the bottom corner is one of the most powerful puppets in the game, but you have to go through a lot of stuff to get it to join your party, and we will not be doing that. But cats were eavesdropping on us. Splat. Rip cat. And now we're going to get to the best song of the game. I hope you enjoy, because it is a lot of people's favorites, including mine. Also, keep an eye on the cat on the top row there.
The devil is my slave, more beautiful than the goddess. I put her face to shame. Oh, look at me, what do you see? There's no one greater than me. I am the queen, the best you've seen, so worship me. Your Highness, Marjorie, we worship you as number one. Oh yes, I am evil personified, so get down on your knees. And if you're ever graced by my beauty, you'll thank your lucky stars. Aren't I great? I'm amazing myself all the time. There is one thing that I still have to get. I won't rest till he's mine, Prince Ferdinando. Don't you know you're old enough to be his mother? Hey, you shut up! My heart is burning, overheating with a raging fire. The prince I do admire, he fills me with desire. Dear Ferdinando, I am here to save you from this curse. Let his love quench my thirst. My precious, wait a little longer, I will end your strife. I'll bring you back to life, I'll be your wicked wife. Dear Ferdinando, I am here to save you from this curse. Let your love quench my thirst. Quench your thirst. If you dare to get in my way, we'll make you pay. You won't live another day. Queenie, just show your beauty. You're the baddest queen under the sun. Keep on shining, we'll keep on whining. She's our queen, she's the baddest to be seen. Marjorie, you're the evil beauty. We bow down to you eternally.
I'm sorry, y'all. It's all downhill from here. Alright, so Firestone is going to be our first stop. And Firestone is being plagued by dragons from the volcano. That sound. Yeah, that sound. So you're gonna hear that a few more times over the next 15 minutes. And I apologize for your ears and mine. So we're gonna stop in Red Hot for all of 2 seconds. So it opens up the volcano for us. And when we get to the volcano, we're going to see that Crotia is already here, trying to find the Firestone herself. So, yeah, another samey dungeon. So, while they're samey, the color changes to kind of suit the environment. So, red for the volcano, we're gonna have blue for the ice cave coming up. Things like that. So, apologize for my focus, but getting lost in these dungeons is really, really bad. I only have enough teleporters, essentially, to get through what I need to get through, so I cannot use a teleporter to kind of backtrack. And when we finally find our way through, we find Crotia in a battle with one of the dragons. With lots of those sounds. We're gonna bust out more sugar candy. A lot of the battle tactics become very samey as the game goes on, so every once in a while there are certain things that make the fight go a little bit faster, so like busting out the sugar candy here, but in general, it's about optimizing the battles and trying to get through them as fast as you can. Ow. So, even though we saved her, Crotia chastises us for killing the dragon. And says that the dragons are the guardians of the volcano. And because we've been killing some of the dragons, the volcano is starting to kind of erupt a little bit, which is why we're getting the shaking. So we're going to go back to Red Hot and make sure everything is okay, even though we spent the whole 5 seconds here before. And we hear more dragon noises! Why are there so many dragon noises? And upon hearing more dragon noises, we are going to go back to the volcano again and investigate what is going on. So we do have to traverse through here one more time. The caves aren't as bad as the towers, though. The towers are really the worst things to go through if you don't know which way you're going. No! Like I said, the game really wants you to know when you fail to run. So as we come to the dragon's nest and I get ambushed again. Thank you. We're gonna find that the villagers have taken it upon themselves to stop the dragon attacks, and they kill the last dragon. In the process of doing this little attack, they find the Firestone and they give it to me. I don't know why, but whatever. But with the last of these dragons dead, the volcano starts to erupt and, well, everybody's gonna die a horrible fiery death. But before we can get out of here, Cornet wants to save the egg because it's the only thing that will essentially let the dragons live again. But it's too heavy, so we make a wish on our trumpet to take the egg with us. Because Rhapsody stuff. And who should be waiting for us out here but Crotia? Even though the volcano is erupting, she tells us to give her the Firestone, and now we must fight. Wah. You suck, Crotia. That was very unlucky. It is time for cake. Killing the puppets is really aggravating because you have to go back to Cornet's grandfather and have him restore them. Wow, what the heck, Crotia? She is being a super big jerk today. It also sucks because they lose levels on Kid and Elkun. Well, we did beat her though, so she takes us out of here, telling, you know, and we're a little confused, like, why would you save us? We're looking for the same stuff. But she says you have this egg to look after now, so go do it. And, well, we take Flair with us. We don't use them, though. And now, because Elkun and Kid died, I have to go resurrect them, so... Please hold. Please hold while our grandfather is resurrecting puppets. Okay, puppets are resurrected. It is thankfully fairly quick, but it's still annoying to have to go do. But now we're gonna go lower the suspension bridge so that we can go and do some other stuff. Not that one, please. Thank you. So normally you would have to go through a whole bunch of little side questing to figure out what switches have to be pressed, but, well, we ain't got time for that. Ain't got no time for that. And now, because Ice Cave, it's gonna be blue. This is a pretty short cave, though, so it's not too bad. And essentially what we're gonna go do up here is we're gonna get the lightning stone, interestingly enough. I might take a couple of extra battles to kind of make up some of the XP I lost. Because that really was a lot of XP I lost. That's a little bit better. Alright, so we're gonna take 2 steps into White Snow and then we're gonna leave. Same as we have done before. And then we're gonna head up to the Tower of the Nine Tails. There is a little gimmick with this tower which we don't really know yet. But as we come through here, we find this poor dude who is collapsed. And because we're us, we're gonna take him back to the town. And the guy tells essentially that he was looking for the Thunderstone to cure his mother who has nine-tail fever. And the only way to cure nine-tail fever is with the Thunderstone. Unfortunately, though, if you take the Thunderstone away from the Ninetails, they die. And this area is very reliant on the Ninetails, and they kind of worship them, and they're a big part of the economy, and etc., etc. But we also kind of sort of need that Thunderstone. So we're going to tell the dude that we will go with him because he wants to go to the top and apologize to the Guardian. But we have a little secret ulterior motive here to get the Thunderstone ourselves. So you're going to hear a little bit of a snippet of the Mountain Man song. Not long. But we're gonna cut that little cutscene short. Essentially, this song will go on forever if you don't stop it. It just continuously cycles through for like 15 minutes.
Mountain man, big and strong and full of fury. Mountain God, lead us on our holy journey. Yo-ho-ho, we are soldiers of the...
But yeah, so we're gonna go and do this now. So I'm gonna focus a little bit here so I do not get lost. Because there are a lot of different doors in here. Oops, I didn't want to do that, but whatever. We'll just take another fight. It's fine. Do I have? No, I don't have that yet. I actually don't have the PlayStation game. I have 2 of the Saturn games, but I do not have the PlayStation game anymore. Interestingly, there's actually a metal slime in this tower. And same as like the DQ metal slime, it can give you a heck ton of experience. But, it's a pain in the butt to fight, just like the DQ ones. And the chances of running into it are also very minimal, so... Alright, we're almost to the top of this tower. There we go. So, if you come up here without talking to these people in town to guide you, you basically come up here for nothing because you cannot walk through the wall without those dudes. So there's the Thunderstone and the Ninetails. So there are technically 2 ways that this can go. If you give up on the Thunderstone, then the Guardian will give you the Holy Stone instead, and it kind of substitutes for it. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to go for the Thunderstone instead, number 1, for experience and cash, and number 2, because it affects which dragons you fight when you get to that part of the game. So you do not want to... you do not want the Holy Stone because, well, you have Shartae in your party who is holy. And it makes that fight a little bit more difficult. And this fight is really not too bad. Sometimes the Guardian can be a little bit of a jerk, but it's not too bad. So, this guy is really not happy with us. He basically throws the Thunderstone in our face at this point. Tells us to get out of here, gives us money, and tells us to never show our faces in front of him again. And because we weren't feeling bad enough about what we did, we also get Crotia to throw in her 2 cents that she has lost faith in us and that we're terrible people. But we do take the Thunderstone to revive this dude's mom. So we do at least something kind of good with it. Kind of, sort of, but not really. But we're gonna run away, and we're gonna go after the next stone, which is the Water Stone. So the Water Stone involves pirates. And we find out that there essentially has been a major tragedy out at sea with the pirates. And that lady's fiancé essentially drowned during a storm. No encounters, why? Thank you. We were doing so well in the tower game. And now you give me this mess. Alright, you want to die so badly, you can die. A little more experience is definitely not gonna hurt when we get to the later part of the game anyway. So this is fine. So we tell this dude that Lady Karen, who is the leader of the pirates, sent us to deal with what's going on board. And we're gonna peep into somebody's privacy and read their journal and find out all about the terrible day where the original ship went down in the storm. And this guy, Tarkarov, feels super guilty because he thinks that he let his best friend drown when he could have done something to save him. And the pirate captain here also kind of feels the same way because Libany was his son. And he thinks Tarkarov basically just let Libany die. And they've been at odds the entire time since it's happened. Essentially, these pirates were out looking for the Water Stone when this all happened. And the son, because of all of this going on, is a ghost. He cannot go to rest because of all of this nonsense between the captain and Tarkarov here. So the ghost pulls us down into the ghost ship because what RPG is complete without a ghost ship? And we're going to read his diary as well, and we find out that they were looking for the Water Stone. There's a ring in here, so he was going to propose to that girl, and then it kind of abruptly cuts off. And guess who else is down here looking for the Water Stone? It's Gao. And Gao, being the musclehead that she is, swam all the way down here. But now we must beat her to find the Water Stone. I'm gonna take a little recovery. I'm gonna take a little save. Sometimes with the lightning attack from Elkin, I've seen the game soft lock, so I'm gonna save just in case. Ah, rabble, rabble, rabble. The nice thing about having Shartae in your party, everything here is undead. So her holy magic works really well. So the ghost comes to confront them, and the captain's like, I'll take your revenge on him for you, and I'll kill him. And just then, well, the ghost of the ship attacks. Because ghost ship. And this is kind of an interesting fight. The painting in the back actually cannot move. So if you don't get too close to it, it will never attack you. No, not wake. So we're gonna use Shartae and Elkun's magic, essentially, to attack from a distance and never get hit. It's kind of convenient. Yep, immobile bosses in strategy RPGs are fantastic. There are two other bosses like that are a little bit later in the game as well, but we're not going to employ the same strategy. The painting is actually pretty heckin' brutal when it can attack you, so we want to avoid it at all costs. And it should be almost done now anyway. One more storm from Elkun should do it. And there we go. So, after all of this, it turns out that the guy tells them, like, my soul cannot rest because, essentially, you're just, you know, keeping me here because you're both feeling guilty about what happened. And he tells them, don't feel guilty. I enjoyed my life, and it's not this guy's fault that I died. And he sends us back and gives us the water stone. And then all is magically well again. So the captain apologizes, he gives us the water stone to thank us, and tells us that anytime we need the ship, just let him know. And he'll take us where we want to go. But first, we have to deal with Gal, who swam all the way back up here to get the water stone. And I kind of like this little bit, because she's so tired from having swam all the way back to the ship, she actually has almost no health left. And I like that. It's like, it's a nice touch. And Gao is like, I have no power. Is it because I didn't eat my Wheaties? And there's your pop culture reference. So we're gonna get the heck out of here. And we're gonna deal with the pirates one more time as we go to get the Earthstone. So, we hear that the pirates are going to this place called Caro Caro where the Earthstone might be. And, well, we need that stone. So we're gonna go with them and get it. But first we need a side trip for some shopping. So we're gonna buy a whole bunch more teleporters. And unfortunately we can only afford 2 Dragon's Claws because I had to spend money to revive my puppets. But it's fine. And we're gonna equip them on Kid. So these very, very greatly increase our attack power. And Kid is gonna be a super duper heavy hitter because of that. And we're gonna go with the pirates to the land of Caro Caro. again, what do you think we're gonna find in Caro? Caro? Frogs. It's the land of the frog people. And the frog people are being plagued by some fish, these boo-boos and BBs, and we need to fight them to progress, essentially. Take care of the problem. I know, it does, Jason, it does. So we must destroy these fish. Unfortunately, we're not going to cook them, though. So, the nice thing would be is if at this point, Elkun had Gigastorm, but he does not. Because Crotia killed him. Unfortunately. So it will take a little bit longer, but it's not too bad. Maybe an extra turn or two. I'm gonna put you... Actually, you know what? I'm gonna leave you there. And I'll move Elkun up. Elkun's magic does not have the greatest range on it. Yep. There's where he learned Gigastorm. He was one fight away. Heck. So, with these fish defeated, we can make our way through the caves to get to Caro Castle. Because surely the king and the queen would know where we can find the Earthstone. Oops. So, apparently the king has already heard of this great thing we did. I guess the frog people swam up to the castle ahead of us to tell them what we did. And they want us to come, and they're having a banquet on our behalf. Now, again, for Breath of Fire 2 people, if you remember the Prince Jean's castle, essentially, and you remember the kind of cuisine they ate, yeah, that's gonna be a thing again here. Except without us having to go hunt down flies. So they bring us the first course. Which is essentially mosquitoes, and Cornet is so freaked out that she passes out. But we lie to them, and we're trying to be polite, and we're like, yeah, this is great. We love it. It's so good. And then they serve us flies, and yeah. So we're like, yeah, we love it when we're savoring it, and here, have a song. Just a cute, quaint little frog song. then they're like, oh, you know, we hear that you also play an instrument. Will you play for us? So we play for them. Because musical adventure. I know, it's a little bit of an oxymoron, but it's all good. So they compliment her song, we compliment their song, and the banquet comes to an end, even though we have eaten absolutely nothing. The king invites us to stay the night, make ourselves comfortable, and even though we're still hungry, we decide at least we can get some rest. But we can't. Because other things are afoot. So this dude is the princess's betrothed. People do not take him seriously, but he doesn't care. And then we find this little interesting confrontation going on with one of the frog singers. And the king thinks that he's kind of intruding, but we find out that, well, this blue frog is named Michael, and he and the princess have actually been, well, seeing each other. And, well, she's a princess, and he's just a common blue frog. Not even a green frog, but a blue frog. This game is very racist, and I'm sorry. But how dare a commoner, regardless of the color, covert with the princess? But the queen has kind of known what's been going on for a while, and she says, well, even though he's a commoner, how about we send him on a quest to prove himself worthy? And she suggests that he should go find the Earthstone. And it's kind of dangerous. So the princess is super duper worried, but the king agrees and says, okay, if you get the Earthstone, then you'll be okay. But the princess is, well, she's worried. And she sees that Cornet is standing behind them and suggests that Cornet should go with him to retrieve the Earthstone. And that's what we're going to do. So we don't get any rest, we didn't get any food, and now we have to go hunt down the Earthstone. Luckily, this tower is not so bad. All of the choices are north. Just head north. Heck. I was kind of hoping to gain another level there, but no such luck. So here we have Frog Tour. Is it a centaur? Is it a frog? It's Frog Tour. I don't think I can reach that, so I'm just gonna single target. Heck, I hate when he G-lasers. That's exactly what I was thinking of, Iceburner. Exactly what I was thinking of. Okay, good. He didn't G-laser again. I hate when he G-lasers! There we go. Alright, so we have the Earthstone. Now we can go back and Michael can prove himself to the king. Let's do it. So the king says, we've done well. Princess says, well, you should remember your promise. And then the king says, well, he betrayed on our sacred land. He must be killed. And this is where it gets dark. And unfortunately, this was the king's plan the entire time. Oh my gosh, Iceburner. That's awful. Well, we get the Earthstone. It sucks. But unfortunately, we can't really do anything, so we need to move on and get the last stone. There's pretty much an order that you have to follow because only certain things will open up at certain times. So the last little area here is this town of Oasis. And Oasis is having a little bit of a problem because people have been going missing in the mines. And because people have been going missing, the mine shaft has been locked. And we need to go retrieve the key from the dude who locked it, who is here in the Wonderwoods. So this is the last trip through the Wonderwoods, folks. With 1,000,000 encounters! What heck, game? Luckily this time, though, we don't have to fight the cats. It's a small bit of relief that we do not have to fight the cats again. At least not here. So here's the dude, he got captured. We tell him that we'll go rescue Lady Etoile. So Etoile went into the mines because essentially they're her father's mines, and she wanted to know what was going on herself and save the people. But she herself got captured. So we have to save her as well. I'm gonna do a little bit of safety save because it's been a while. So we find this train abandoned here. Nobody's been down here in quite a while. But we're gonna get to the bottom of this. If the game would stop giving me encounters. It does not. Okay. Boop. Oops. No, no, no. Please go back down. I know, DAC, I know. It's a weird color. But we hear this noise in the background, and... Cool. We get swallowed by a giant worm. Rip Cornet. And it turns out that all of the missing people have essentially been swallowed by this giant worm, and they basically made a town out of it. That poor kid has never seen the outside world. Even Etoile is here. And of course, she mocks us for getting captured, even though we remind her she's down here too, so shut up, stupid. But we need to get out of here. And Etoile's like, well, we kind of can. So the worm has 3 hearts, and the left heart and the right heart need to be killed at the same time, which means that more than one person has to go in and fight it. But if you talk to these people, they're all super happy in here and don't want to go back to the outside world. So Etoile has kind of given up because all of these people have given up. But because Disney, we're going to sing to her to encourage her. So enjoy.
Given up hope. What is it you're afraid of? I know. It's okay, you can say I'm afraid to, in the same way. I give up hope, I just can't cope, can't give my all much longer. You're not alone, so just hang on. You must try to be stronger. You can overcome life's ups and downs. You can turn your life around. That's the meaning of true courage. So please remember, don't you ever give up trying. Be courageous, keep on striving. Fly to the stars. You can have hope for tomorrow. So let's hold hands with one another. We can both take one step further. Dreams can come true. Find the hope that's deep inside. Find your strength that keeps your dreams alive.
So, yeah. Do you really want to know what they eat in here, Iceburner? Do you really want to know? So we beg Etoile for her help, and she tells us to destroy the heart on the 6th turn. So here's the annoying part. We have to do this twice, because the first time, if you wait until the 6th turn, Etoile will screw up and still tell you that you suck. So it's much better if we screw up, make the fight end faster the first time around, so that she can still tell us that we suck and to try it again. So the worm hearts are completely stationary. And like I said, here it really doesn't matter because we're going to go against what we're supposed to do to end this fight as quickly as possible. Because at least with the outer hearts, they're pretty weak. And they go down pretty easily. And covered in frogs for some reason. Well, maybe they were eating the frogs. Maybe they were eating the frogs. So, we have to go back out. Again, so Etoile can tell us how terrible we are. And then go back in and do it the right way. Maybe if it was a hard drive, oh my gosh. So there. You suck. Thanks, Etoile. Like I said, it's frustrating because even if you do it correctly, she screws up and still tells you that you suck. So let's go do it the right way. Don't you at me. How dare you? Nope, I can't reach. That stinks. Alright, so now we get counting with the theRPGchick. So this is turn number 1. Turn 2. 3, 4, 5, and finally it's the 6th turn, and now we can kill the heart. So now with the 2 outer hearts taken care of, now we have to go and destroy the center heart. No turns required. Just basically all-out attack. And it's kind of a shame. Horn really does only work on the puppets, so you can't actually strengthen Etoile's attack power, which I think kind of stinks. There we go, the bees are dead. I don't know why there's bees in here, but there are. Very cute ones. You hope you never catch heart bees? Me too. That seems generally unpleasant. No, don't heal yourself. How dare you heal your heart? How dare you? So even though the heart is stationary, we do have to get kind of close to it, and If you don't attack with Kid, the battle takes a lot longer. Always with the good old RNG. Always. It would not be an RPG run if there was not RNG. Oops. Make a saint. Make a saint. There we go. And of course, Etoile thinks that she has done everything herself. Because Etoile. I love Giga Holy. Such a good spell. Oh my gosh, encounters, please! Really? I can't run to 2 toads? Really? Really? Is that what you're telling me, game? There we go. Okay, so we need to make our way back to the Train of Fools. And we're gonna come to see Etoile bragging about her exploits and how she did everything herself because she's Etoile Rosen Queen. Nobody did anything else, and Cornette was just on the floor crying. But, well, the worm was kind of still moving when we killed its heart, so it still had that forward momentum and crashes and sends everybody flying. Sorry, people. But I have a stone to find. Yes, Etoile is very delusional. No, unfortunately you don't get to see the worm. But we are in the last area to get the last of the stones. This is another. This is kind of another scenario where it can have 2 different outcomes. So essentially, this is a money mine and a notium mine. A notium is kind of the currency in this world, and we can choose when we get to that point to kind of loot it or to be good. And in this one instance, we're actually going to choose to be good. And we're going to leave the Anotium here, and we're just going to grab the stone. The Windstone, which is the last of the stones. Just this once, exactly. So because we were good, and we said no... Uh-oh. I think the game saw hot. No! Uh-oh. Yeah, I think... Uh-oh. Is it moving? Please tell me it's moving. Thank you, it's moving. Okay, we're fine. This is fine! Heck! Let's get out of here! Okay, this is fine. This is totally fine. Ugh. Anyway, because Miss Meow is smarter than her sisters, she decides to ambush us here and just steal all the stones at once instead of going for them individually. And she challenges us for the stones. I was legit terrified because I did not want to have to do the worm again. I really didn't want to have to do it again. So this is a weird fight. You do have to get rid of the cats, but you really can't do any damage to Miss Meow, and you just kind of have to outlast a few turns. And then this interesting thing here happens, where Kururu transforms and scares away the cats. And changes back before Cornet wakes up. Okay, I'm going to save, because that was just a terrifying as heck almost soft lock, and I don't want to do that again. There we go. Okay, we're good. Let's go. Now that we have all the stones, we can bring them back to the sage at the top of the tower. We don't have to climb it again because we have teleporters. So he says, well, the stones are not enough to save the prince. They're not for breaking the spell. And Cornet's not happy to hear that. But what we do find out is that the stones are to get to Marjorie's castle, which is up flying in the air. But the only way to actually save the prince is exactly what Crotia found out like an hour ago, which is that you have to kiss the prince. And it has to be a young maiden who truly loves him, which is actually Cornet, of course, not Marjorie. But Kururu has exhausted herself, and we're gonna go into her mind and find out what is going on. Because Rhapsody things. Yeah, Crotia is the smart one of this game. So, we find this little scene in Kururu's head, and it's actually a past scene with Cornet's mother and little Cornet carrying around a tiny little Kururu doll. So Cornet's mother invites us to rest. Cornet, of course, is very overwhelmed at seeing her mother, even though it's just a dream. But we have investigating to do. Because some fishy things are going on around here. So we get this nice little scene with Tiny Cornet, and interestingly enough, Tiny Etoile. And the portrait picture for Etoile is this little girl with, like, snot hanging out of her nose. And adult Etoile is like, who does this loser grow up to be? To which Cornet, of course, is very amused. Everything in this marathon is all PlayStation 1 because it is the 25th anniversary of PlayStation 1. She kind of does. A horn, trumpet, cornet, whatever you want to call it. And we get a small musical interlude with Cornet's mom. You don't get the whole song. The game just kind of cuts it. I wish it would at least come onto PSTV so that I could play it without it soft locking. That'd be great. I'd really like that.
You are my angel. You are my everything.
Cat, stop.
You mean more than anything. When I see your smile so lovely and bright.
Yep, this is the sad flashback. So Cornette does a little reminiscing for the song because it's a lullaby her mom used to sing to her. But, well, some strange shenanigans are going on here, and she goes to find out what's happened to her daughter in the dream. Unfortunately, we find Etoile over here crying by the grave, where we went down with Kururu earlier in the game, crying at something has happened to Cornette. So we are gonna go tell her mom that something has happened to her, and then we're gonna go help her find out what. And our grandfather basically asks us to go and follow Sherry, Cornette's mom, because she gets a little bit crazy where her daughter is concerned, and in all honesty, that's kind of what good mothers do. So we find that Cornette has gone down into the ruins, and Sherry is going to follow her to save her. And we're going to follow them as well to find out what's going on here. Except this time we're not going to come up through the toilet. We're gonna go into this little side entrance here. Oops. And we're gonna find Cornette and the minister with the Ava unit. Is it 2 or 3? I forget which one is the red one. It's been too long. But either way, Cornette remembers that this is how her mother died. It was this robot that killed her. And even though it's only a dream, Cornette wants to take vengeance on the robot. Okay, so we need to keep Kid's attack power up in order to get through this fight a little bit quicker. And I'm gonna do a little healing here as well to make sure that when this idiot busts out G-Laser, we don't die. At least not all of us. Oh, he didn't bust it out. Good, good, good. Very nice. So one more round should do it. It would have been nice if Etwile had crits, but Etwile does what Etwile does. So, as you can see, Kid does a heck of a lot of damage. If I had been able to afford a third Dragon Claw, he'd do even more damage. So, this is essentially how Sherry dies, but because Sherry is who she is, she has Cornet make a wish, use her trumpet so that she can make a wish. And I'm not going to spoil it for you. You can watch the nice little cutscene.
Smile so lovely and bright makes the world seem right. At times you connect like such a little girl, but in my eyes you are the world. I wish you health and happiness for all time, and may the world be kind whenever you are feeling down.
So yeah, Kururu has the spirit of Sherry. And there's like a little side quest that you can go through and find out even more stuff, but yeah, we're not gonna do that. And the sage tells Kururu to stay here and rest while Cornet goes and does stuff. And now that we have all the stones and we know what we need to do, we're gonna head up to Marjorie's castle. So we have to do this little bit first to unlock the pathway. So we fight essentially a dragon for each element. And then place the stone on the statue, and we have to do that for every single 5 of the stones. These aren't hard fights. They're just tedious. And it doesn't matter what order you do the orbs in. You can do it from left to right, you can do it from right to left. You can go all over the place. It really doesn't matter as long as you get all 5. And don't forget any. Because if you forget any, then you look kind of like a fool trying to go onto the center circle and nothing happens. I mean, who does that? Nobody does that. Not ever. When did this become Chrono Cross? Oh my goodness. Yo, thanks. Alright, one more stone. Oh. Hey, that's not cool, dude. Don't do that. Okay, all the stones have been placed. It's time to fly. But we get a cutscene first. Interestingly, Galonzo is up here. Why is Galonzo here with Marjorie? Something is fishy. Game? Game! Game. This game is giving up on me. Game! Thank you! Uh-oh. These look familiar. We're almost at the end game. Just hold on a little bit longer. This is the last dungeon. Please, game, I love you. Alright, so I'm going to heal and save. So, Marjorie and her goons can be super duper trolly. So you really have to save outside this fight, especially in a marathon. Okay, I just want to say that that was slightly terrifying. Who's causing me the most issue? It's gonna be... yeah. Did Marjorie do anything evil? Not yet. But she will. She will. Alright, it's time for cake. Okay, that'll get rid of Gao. We can actually heal again. Alright, so we're fine. This should be fine. Please don't backseat the speedrunner. I appreciate that. Speedrunner is third place. She knows what she's doing. There we go. No, you're great. So we beat Marjorie. This should be over, right? But it's not. Because the only reason Galanzo came up here is for those stupid robots. But Marjorie is not one to be outdone herself, and is also going to challenge the robot. Unfortunately, she's still Marjorie. So, it is up to us. Because, well, we have to avenge our mom and our prince. Heck. So we definitely want to get rid of these little dudes. So the AoE is really good right now. Unfortunately, the last one didn't die, but Elkun should be able to take care of that. Not Elkun, sorry. Kid should be able to take care of that. And now we can focus on the robot. Surprised it couldn't reach. Oh well. It's all good. So this robot will probably only single target Kid, especially once he gets close. But he can AoE. So mostly, I just kind of have to make sure that Kid stays not dangerously close to dying. Because if he dies, the last fight takes a lot longer. The good thing is you always gain levels after these fights in the speed run. Heck, this robot just does not die. But you know what? Where would this Disney themed stuff be if we didn't need help from our friends and they show up to help us out, right? Wow, it actually single-targeted. Go figure. Yup, fairy tale, power of friendship. You know what? I'm in the mood for one more piece of food. It's time for pancakes. Now you need to get some this weekend. Yo, pancakes are fabulous. I recommend everybody get them. Okay, I'm gonna heal you because if she dies, it's problem. Yep, Etwale has a gun. That is her main weapon. But this should be the last turn. Alright, kid. Finish it. No? One more? Okay. It was a little off. I guess Elkin's gonna finish it? Yep. We did it! And we gained all the levels. We defeated the big, bad, evil robot. We avenged our mom. But we're not quite done yet. So we're gonna punish Galonzo for what he did. Well, they're gonna punish Galonzo for what he did. I know, I'm sorry, it doesn't have 5 forms. That was its final form. But we do have a prince to save. So we kiss our prince, and unlike when Marjorie did it, it actually works. So this part is kind of interesting, and it changes depending on how you handle the different stones. Because Cornet kind of gets really weepy and mopey that she's done so many terrible things, and she has all these regrets. But the prince just tells her, well, you know, are you going to make one more person sad? You know, I'm in love with you. So listen to your heart and stay with me. And then things escalate very quickly. And they get married. Yay! Get out of my way, NPCs! I have a place to go. And that's time. So, the ending is pretty bittersweet. Now that Cornet is happy, Sherry is going to leave this world. So the ending is really very bittersweet. While Cornet gets her happiness, she does have to say goodbye to both Kururu and her mom. And thanks for the GGs, y'all. And, well, that was Rhapsody. This game actually does have a sequel. I think there's actually 2 sequels. They were never translated, but the second game, which was very lovingly gifted to me a couple of years back, I have not played through it yet, mostly because it's only in Japanese, but I would like to play through it at some point, and it follows Cornet's daughter. But yeah, this is a fantastic game. I recommend it, especially casually, because it's really amusing and there's lots of little things that we don't do in the run. Yeah, the daughter's name is Kururu. The run is pretty easy to pick up. It's just a lot of which way are you going through the dungeons? And there are notes up on speedrun.com, so if you are interested in picking up this run, hey, go for it. But definitely stay tuned, because we have almost an entire weekend of awesome PlayStation games coming at you. I myself will be back tomorrow with Legend of Mana Dragon Percent. So don't change that dial. Stay right here. And coming up next, we do have some Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories with Brayless. So definitely do not go anywhere.
I thank you from my heart. You filled my life with melody and song. You are the one I tell my story to. It's just begun. Our love will last forever. We'll share our lives as one. We have shared the